The chairman of the National Bank, Grigory Marchenko, officially acknowledged that inflation in Kazakhstan is quite significant. On June 2nd, he talked about the situation on the financial market of the country during a press conference in Almaty.
According to the official data by the State Statistics Agency, the inflation in Kazakhstan keeps the pace of 0.6% a year. This is 1/10 less than in 2009 and supposedly shows its downward trend. In reality, though, there is an evident serious growth, although the chairman of the National Bank, Grigory Marchenko, says the situation was expected and there's no need to panic. In annual terms, or in the last 12 months, the inflation has reached 7%, while our forecast was 6.8%. This means that the inflation is in the middle of this range. The fact that inflation growth is much higher than promised by the authorities is felt by regular citizens of Kazakhstan. Food prices and services costs are going up almost every 6 months. Gasoline prices are skyrocketing, while the rise of tariffs for communal services is expected to be catastrophic. The inflation is evident as food and services are getting more expensive, especially compared to the last year. Food prices, communal services costs have gone up, while salaries remain the same. I believe the inflation in the country has reached a serious peak. Analysts say the inflation in Kazakhstan follows global tendencies linked to oil prices and the general instability of the world economy. This, however, is a paradox, since the authorities consider Kazakh economy among the most stable in the world.
The national holding Samruk Kazana does not lose hope to get rid of its share in BTA Bank. On Tuesday, the head of the holding, Kairat Kilimbetov, said in an interview to the news agency Novosti that Kazakhstan resumed the talks with Russian Sberbank. The national bank's head, Grigory Marchenko, also noted BTA's essential need of a Russian strategic partner.
Grigory Marchenko sees Russian Sberbank, VTB and Gazprombank as potential strategic partners which will help Kazakh BTA to return its lost in Russia assets. The head of the national bank calls Sberbank the most likely candidate, having personally participated in intermediary talks with the Russian financial institution. According to Marchenko, Sberbank is waiting until all legal nuances of the restructuring will be settled. We have always said that the state must exit capitals of commercial banks. The question is when. The last statement of the fund, Samruk Kazana, said it will happen within 2 years, but if it occurs sooner, it will be only for the better. We believe that the state should not hold controlling and blocking stakes. Back in April, the board chair of the People's Bank, Umut Shaykhmetova, said the financial institution is also interested in obtaining a share in BTA. Apparently, her bank has accumulated up to $5 billion in free liquidity, and these assets needed to be invested somewhere. At a press conference 2 months later, Shaykhmetova seemed to lose all interest in BTA, as the People's Bank is already thriving. Only during the first quarter of 2010, its net income has increased by almost 180%. We are not interested in purchasing Bank Turanalem, as People's Bank will not benefit in any way from buying any other financial institution. We already have a wide network of branches. The head of the People's Bank admits that the situation was greatly helped by the state's participation in BTA and alliance banks, as it triggered a run of deposits and clients who later joined the new financial institution. The former colleague of Shaykhmetova, the ex-chairman of BTA, Roman Solochenko, notes in his blog that the state's forced seizure of BTA was done in the interests of other banks. Even after the restructuring, BTA remains a problematic asset, facing a significant amount of debts and lawsuits from former shareholders. Already in summer, we will see to what extent Sberbank is interested in obtaining an asset like this. For now, the completion of BTA's restructuring foremost benefits other Kazakh banks, whose international creditors waited for the resolution of this issue since the last year. The head of the National Bank, Grigory Marchenko, chaired the People's Bank until 2010. It is possible that April's statement of Shaykhmetova is nothing more than a promo campaign for potential investors.
Back to the news from the regions. Teachers of the Karakemir village school in the Almaty region accused the headmistress in violating the labor code, illegal use of child labor and exerting psychological pressure on the staff. The Education Ministry's inspections have confirmed the charges twice, although the headmistress was able to avoid responsibility both times.
Teachers called the Karakemir village school in the Almaty region a maximum security school for the rampant corruption. Every month they deduct 1% of their salaries to headmistress Bibi Jamal Tavanova. Students are forced to work on plantations, while the headmistress takes credits for other classes. Nurzia Akhmetova was fired from school on May 27th for being 5 minutes late. The headmistress does not attend her elective course, collects money for school maintenance from pupils' parents. Akhmetova believes she was fired for being proactive. Together with 9 others, she says the impunity of the headmistress is explained by her reaction to some high-ranked officials. The Education Ministry has already carried out 2 inspections in the school, which did reveal violations. Nevertheless, the director of the district education department found this was not a serious enough reason for sanctions and only issued a reprimand. In our work, we follow the law and labor code in particular, thus we cannot fire a headmistress because of one reprimand. The head of the public association Arnamız, where the school teachers appealed for assistance, sees a pattern in the situation. The worst thing is that in village schools similar situations are becoming a system when headmasters begin treating themselves as feudal kings. The headmistress was not found at her working place for a comment. Officially, Bibi Jamal Tavanova is on sick leave. Unofficially, though, she's likely preparing for a visit from the financial police, as the ministerial commission revealed that in the last 2 years, the headmistress pocketed about $4,000, which is a big amount for a Kazakh village.
Leaders of the movement Talmas, as well as residents of the infamous Almaty micro-district Shanirak, claim the new bill on migration violates the constitutional rights of citizens for free movement on the territory of the country. Find out more from the following report.
Activists of the movement Talmas, together with Almaty students, opposed the bill on migration. The document, still reviewed by the parliament, stipulates the possession of a mandatory temporary residence permit. The measure will affect university students and citizens coming to big cities for earnings. At the same time, there is also an initiative of the Almaty mayor Ahmedjan Yesimov to introduce a residence quota in Almaty, which actually contradicts the constitution. It is immoral for the police to find Kazakh citizens because they moved around the country without a residence permit. The constitution clearly states that citizens have the right to move and live freely anywhere they want, only requiring a registration once settling at one place. Meanwhile, according to some sources, over 500,000 people live in Almaty without registration. Talmas activists believe the introduction of the bill will lead to the severe confrontation between the government and society, although immigration police disagrees with this opinion. Taking into account our mentality and obedience to the law, I hope that the bill will bring order to the state. Economics professor Tazabek Sambitbay lives in Almaty without a registration for 20 years. He believes the innovation violates his constitutional rights, and if the bill will be passed, he will end up an outlaw. We strongly oppose the bill, as we believe it will violate our rights. Until the bill is passed, the MPs are avoiding giving public assessments of the matter. Some of them, however, agree with the public that the mandatory permits violates constitutional rights. The forceful nature of the bill will limit a person's rights. I believe this should be a voluntary action. To prevent the passing of the bill, Talmas is working on its own project with the movement activists proposing to simplify the registration process for citizens arriving from regions. There is no guarantee that their document will be approved by the parliament, but at least people will know that there is an alternative.
These were all the latest updates from Kazakhstan. Thank you for watching us and goodbye.